Your mind is your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. Negative thoughts can trap you in fear, regret, and overthinking. But Stoicism teaches us that our thoughts don't control us, we control them. If you want to master your mind and defeat negativity, follow these 10 Stoic strategies. Number 1. Stop labeling events as good or bad. They are just events. Most suffering isn't caused by reality. It's caused by the story we tell ourselves about reality. A failure, a loss, a betrayal, none of these are inherently bad. They are just events. Your mind is the one turning them into tragedies. And once you realize this, you take back control. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The world doesn't care about your expectations. It will move as it always has, indifferent, relentless. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you free yourself. Look at history. In 1914, Thomas Edison's laboratory burned to the ground. Decades of work, gone overnight. Most people would have collapsed in despair. Edison? He simply said, "Thank God all our mistakes were burned up. Now we can start fresh. No resistance, no labels, just adaptation." A 2017 study in the Journal of Behavioral Therapy and Experimental Psychiatry found that people who practice cognitive reappraisal, changing the way they interpret events, experience lower stress and greater resilience. When you stop seeing things as bad, you remove their power over you. Common examples are everywhere. You lose a job, devastating? Maybe. But what if that job was keeping you from something greater? You go through heartbreak, painful? Of course. But what if it cleared the path for a deeper, more meaningful connection? What if everything you thought was a setback was just a redirection? Seneca wrote in On Providence, "A good person dyes events with his own color and turns whatever happens to his own benefit. The universe does not send blessings or curses. It only sends raw material. Your mind decides what it becomes. A man misses a flight. He rages, ruins his day. Another man, same flight, sees it as an opportunity to relax, reflect, and read. Two realities, same event. The difference? One reacted, the other adapted. So ask yourself, how many of your problems are real? And how many are just stories in your head? What if nothing in your life was happening to you, but for you? What if every so-called tragedy was actually a hidden advantage? Because if you stop labeling events as good or bad, you become untouchable. You stop breaking every time life throws something unexpected your way, and in that, you find the ultimate power, freedom. Number 2, control what you can, ignore what you can't. Most people waste their lives obsessing over things they cannot change: the past, other people's opinions, random misfortunes. They replay old conversations, stress over how they're perceived, and try to control outcomes that were never theirs to control. This is wasted energy. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said in the Enchiridion, "Some things are up to us, and some are not. The only real power you have is over yourself, your actions, your mindset, your choices. Everything else outside your hands." A 2012 study in psychological science found that people who focus on what they can control experience lower stress and higher levels of life satisfaction. The reason is simple. Control gives clarity. When you stop chasing the impossible, your mind clears. You stop fighting reality and start mastering yourself. Look at common examples. You prepare for a job interview, but the interviewer is rude and dismissive. Your control? How you respond. Do you lose composure, or do you remain calm and professional? Someone spreads lies about you. Your control? Whether you engage or let your actions prove the truth. You're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Your control? Whether you curse and stress or use the time to reflect, plan, or listen to something valuable. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. If a storm destroys your house, you don't stand in the rubble cursing the sky. You rebuild. If betrayal cuts deep, you don't let it consume you. You learn, adapt, and move forward. History proves this truth. Admiral James Stockdale, a prisoner of war for over 7 years, endured brutal torture. He had no control over his captors, no control over his suffering, but he controlled his mind. He refused to break, keeping his men's morale alive. He later said that accepting reality without false hope was what saved him. This is the power of focusing only on what is within your control. Think about your own life. How much of your suffering comes from trying to control what was never yours to control? How many nights have you lost worrying about what someone else thinks, about a decision that was already made, about a future that hasn't happened? Imagine if, instead, all that energy was directed toward your own actions, your own growth. Seneca put it bluntly. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of your stress isn't real, it's just your mind grasping at things beyond your reach. But the moment you shift your focus, the weight lifts, the noise fades. So ask yourself, what can I control right now? If the answer is nothing, let it go. If the answer is something, act. Anything else is a distraction. Number 3, see every hardship as training for greatness. Most people see hardship as punishment. They ask, why me? As if suffering is some kind of injustice. But the Stoics knew the truth life is not unfair. Life is just life. And struggle, that's not something to avoid, it's something to embrace. Epictetus, who was born a slave and crippled by his master, didn't crumble under hardship. Instead, he said, difficulties are what show men's character. Pain is the test. The weak break, the strong rise. And the choice, it's always yours. Modern science backs this up. A 2010 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who experienced moderate adversity, suffered but kept going, ended up with higher levels of resilience and life satisfaction. Too much comfort makes you fragile. Hardship forces adaptation. It turns pain into power. Look at history. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. Most would have given up, but he used that time to sharpen his mind, to strengthen his spirit. When he walked out, he wasn't a broken man, he was a leader. Marcus Aurelius faced plague, war, betrayal. Did he collapse? He wrote Meditations, a book filled with wisdom that still guides people today. Hardship didn't destroy these men, it forged them. Now, think about your own life. Every time you struggled, every time you suffered, did you not come out stronger? A heartbreak that made you wiser, a failure that forced you to grow, a betrayal that taught you who to trust. You were being trained, you just didn't realize it. Seneca put it best, fire tests gold, suffering tests brave men. The athlete does not curse the weight she lifts them. The warrior does not fear battle but trains for it. So why should you see hardship any differently? Next time life hits you, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, how is this making me stronger? Because if you see suffering as training, it can no longer break you. It can only build you. Number 4, question your thoughts. Most of them are lies. Your mind is your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. It whispers doubts, fuels insecurities, and convinces you of things that aren't even real. And the worst part? You believe it, without question. Epictetus warned, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. But most people don't react to reality. They react to the stories in their heads. Stories like, I'm not good enough. Everything always goes wrong. People don't respect me. But here's the truth. These thoughts are rarely based on facts. They are assumptions, distortions, emotions pretending to be reality. A 2005 study from the National Science Foundation found that the average person has about 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day, and 80% of them are negative. Worse, 95% are repetitive. You keep thinking the same lies over and over until they feel like truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your mind will tell you that people are judging you, that you are failing, that the worst-case scenario is inevitable. But have you ever stopped to ask, is this actually true? History proves that thoughts are deceptive. In 1519, Hernan Cortés and his men were vastly outnumbered against the Aztecs. Many believed they had no chance, but belief is not truth. Against all odds, they conquered an empire. In 1995, Elon Musk was told PayPal was a terrible idea. No one will trust money online. That was the thought. The truth? It revolutionized digital finance. Now, look at your own life. How many times have you thought something was impossible only to prove yourself wrong. You worried about failing that test, losing that job, ruining that relationship. And yet, you survived. Your mind was wrong, Seneca said. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of your fears are shadows, ghosts with no substance. The moment you shine light on them, question them, they vanish. Next time your mind tells you a story, challenge it. Ask, is this fear based on facts or just my emotions? What evidence do I actually have for this thought? Has my mind lied to me before? Because once you expose a lie, it loses its power. And when you take back control of your thoughts, you take back control of your life. Number 5, use negative visualization. Prepare for the worst. Most people live in fear of loss, failure, disaster. They try to avoid thinking about bad outcomes, believing that ignoring them will make them disappear. But the Stoics knew better. They practiced premeditatio malorum, the art of visualizing the worst-case scenario. Not to be negative, but to be prepared. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. If you imagine the worst before it happens, you strip it of its ability to shock you. It no longer controls you. Instead, you control it." A 2018 study in behavior therapy found that people who practiced structured negative visualization had lower anxiety and higher resilience. Why? Because the brain is less reactive to what it has already experienced, even if only in thought. Fear thrives in uncertainty. But once you've already lived the worst in your mind, it no longer feels like an ambush. Think about it logically. A soldier doesn't step into battle hoping nothing bad happens. She trains for every possible threat. A pilot doesn't ignore the possibility of engine failure. He learns exactly what to do if it happens. So, why would you face life any differently? Marcus Aurelius prepared himself daily. Begin each day by telling yourself, "Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." He expected obstacles. He planned for them, and because of that, he was never caught off guard. Use this in your own life. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? How would I survive it? What steps could I take to minimize damage? You fear losing money? Imagine it happening. What would you do? Cut expenses, rebuild, adapt. You fear rejection? Picture it. Would it actually destroy you? You'd move on. You fear death? Face it. It's inevitable. But accepting it now frees you to live fully. Epictetus said, "An untrained mind will be confounded by fear. A prepared mind will remain unmoved." Negative visualization doesn't make bad things happen, it makes you unshakable when they do. So, visualize your worst fears. Walk through them in your mind. Because once you've already survived them in thought, reality has nothing left to break you with. Number 6. Detach from the opinion of others. You waste too much time caring about what people think. You hesitate before speaking, overanalyze your actions, and replay conversations in your head wondering, did they like me? Did I say the wrong thing? But ask yourself, why does it even matter? Marcus Aurelius saw through this illusion. You are not disturbed by events, but by your opinion about them. It's not their words that hurt you, it's your belief that they matter. And that belief, it's a prison. Psychology proves this. A 2017 study in Nature Human Behavior found that social rejection activates the same part of the brain as physical pain. This is why criticism, embarrassment, or disapproval feel unbearable. But here's the trick: your brain cannot tell the difference between real social danger and imagined social danger. That awkward moment you keep replaying in your mind, no one else even remembers it. Look at history. Socrates was sentenced to death for questioning society. Did he beg for approval? He drank the poison willingly, knowing that truth mattered more than reputation. Nikola Tesla died alone in a hotel room, laughed at by the world. But today, his name is written in history. The crowd will always judge. The wise do not care. Now, apply this to your own life. Think about a time someone insulted you. At that moment, their words felt powerful, but did they actually change anything? Did they make you weaker? Did they stop you from breathing? The only thing that changed was your perception. Epictetus gave a simple test. If someone calls you a fool, does that make you one? If someone calls you a king, does that make you one? Other people's opinions are just noise. They hold no power unless you believe them. So how do you break free? Ask, does this opinion actually change my reality? Realize, people forget. No one is thinking about you as much as you think. Except, you will never be liked by everyone. Even the greatest minds were hated. Seneca said, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon the future and loses the present. The more you seek approval, the less you actually live. And in the end, the only opinion that ever mattered was your own." Number 7. Practice memento mori. Life is short, so don't waste it. You will die. Maybe in 50 years, maybe in 10, maybe tomorrow. The clock is ticking, and every second that passes is a second you will never get back. Yet, most people live as if they have forever. They waste time on meaningless worries, pointless arguments, and the opinions of people who won't even remember them when they're gone. The Stoics had a practice to shatter this illusion. Memento mori. Remember, you must die. Not as a morbid thought, but as a tool for clarity. Marcus Aurelius reflected on death constantly. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. He knew that remembering death was the key to living fully. Science backs this up. Studies in psychological science, 2011, show that people who confront their mortality become more focused, less materialistic, and more driven to live meaningfully. Why? Because death erases the unimportant. When you realize your time is limited, you stop wasting it. Think about it logically. If you knew you had 1 year left to live, would you still care about petty drama? Would you waste time arguing with people who drain you? Would you be afraid to take risks? You'd strip life down to what actually matters. Health, growth, purpose, love. Look at history. Alexander the Great conquered half the known world, but on his deathbed, he ordered that his hands be left outside his coffin, empty, to show that even the greatest kings leave with nothing. Steve Jobs had billions, yet in his final days he admitted, non-stop pursuit of wealth will only turn a person into a twisted being, just like me. He had everything except time. Now ask yourself, if I died tomorrow, would this problem still matter? Am I living a life worth remembering? What regrets would I have if today was my last day? Seneca warned, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. You fear risks as if you'll live forever. You procrastinate as if time is unlimited. But it's not. Every day, you are given a choice. Waste your life in distractions and negativity, or live with purpose, strength, and urgency." The wise already know the answer. Number 8. Master the present moment. The past and future are illusions. You are trapped not by chains, but by time. Your mind is constantly pulled in two directions: regret for the past and fear of the future. But neither exists. The past is just a memory. The future, just an idea. The only thing that is real, this moment. Seneca understood this when he said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of your pain isn't real, it's created in your mind. You replay past mistakes, as if thinking about them will change them. You worry about things that haven't happened, as if fearing them will stop them. But the past is untouchable, and the future is unpredictable. Science proves this. A 2015 study in clinical psychological science found that over 85% of what people worry about never actually happens. And, for the few things that do, most are not as bad as we imagine. Your brain is a storyteller, creating horrors that do not exist. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to resist this trap. Give yourself a gift, the present moment. He knew that real power comes from focusing only on what is happening right now. Think about it logically. Can you change the past? Number. Can you predict the future? Number. But can you control your actions in this moment? Yes. Then why waste energy anywhere else? Look at history. The samurai of Japan practiced Mushina mind free from past regrets and future fears. Warriors who hesitated, thinking about failure, died. Only those who lived fully in the moment survived. The same is true in your life. The more you dwell on what was or could be, the less you actually live. So how do you break free? Observe your thoughts. Are they in the past, the future? Bring them back to now. Control your breathing. It's the fastest way to return to the present. Ask yourself, what is real right now? What can I control? Epictetus said, freedom is the control of your own mind. But if your mind is stuck in the past or lost in the future, you are a prisoner. The wise know this. The past cannot hurt you. The future cannot save you. The only real power you have is this moment. Don't waste it. Number 9. Take action. Negativity dies when you move. Your mind is a battlefield, and overthinking is the enemy. The more you sit and dwell, the deeper negativity digs into you. But the moment you take action, it dies. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Most people waste their energy worrying, complaining, and analyzing problems instead of doing something about them. The Stoics knew that action is the only cure. Science agrees. Studies in the Journal of Behavior Therapy and Experimental Psychiatry, 2014, show that physical movement directly reduces anxiety and overthinking. When you engage your body, your brain is forced to focus on the present. This is why athletes, soldiers, and workers with physical jobs report lower stress levels. They don't have time to sit and spiral into negativity. Think logically. When do negative thoughts hit you hardest? When you're sitting alone, doing nothing. But when you're working, training, or learning, they vanish. Not because the problems disappear, but because your mind is too occupied with progress to entertain self-pity. The Stoics lived by this principle. When Seneca was forced into exile, he didn't sit in despair. He used the time to write some of the greatest philosophical works in history. When Epictetus was a slave, he didn't drown in misery. He trained his mind, later becoming one of Rome's greatest teachers. Even Marcus Aurelius, ruling during a plague, wrote daily in his journal, forcing his mind toward wisdom instead of worry. So what's your excuse? Instead of letting your thoughts eat you alive, move. Train your body. Strength kills weakness in the mind and in the flesh. Read wisdom. Feed your mind with knowledge, not negativity. Build your skills. Every moment spent improving is a moment taken from despair. The truth is bitter, but simple. If you refuse to act, you are choosing misery. If you move forward, even an inch, you are choosing growth. The Stoics didn't wait for motivation, they acted, because they knew that action itself creates the mindset you need. Overthinking is a poison. Action is the antidote. The choice is yours. Number 10. Accept fate and let go of resistance. You suffer most when you resist what already is. You think life should be different, fairer, easier, but the universe doesn't care about your expectations. Reality is what it is. The Stoics called this amor fati, love your fate. Not just accepting it, but embracing it completely. Marcus Aurelius understood this when he wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." This is the mindset of the strong. Hardship, change, failure, everything that happens is fuel. You can either waste energy resisting or use it to grow stronger. Science proves this. A 2018 study in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that people who accept negative emotions rather than suppress them experience less stress and greater long-term well-being. Resisting life doesn't make it easier, it makes it worse. Think logically. Has resisting reality ever changed it? Has getting angry at misfortune ever reversed it? Number. But when you accept what is, your mind becomes free. You stop suffering twice, once from the event itself, and once from your reaction to it. Look at history. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus was born a slave. He could have resisted, fallen into self-pity, cursed his fate. Instead, he embraced it. He used his suffering as a teacher, trained his mind, and became one of the greatest philosophers in history. Most people fight against life, wishing it were different. They resist change, hold on to the past, fear the future, and in doing so, they destroy their own peace. The truth is harsh but simple. You have two choices. You can resist fate, complain, and suffer, or you can embrace it, flow with it, and become unstoppable. Your mind wants to fight, but the universe does not care. The strong do not resist, they adapt. The wise do not complain, they accept and transform. The moment you let go of resistance, you gain true power. The more you love your fate, the less anything can break you. Negative thoughts only have power if you allow them to. Use Stoic wisdom to question, control, and transform your mind. Will you remain stuck in negativity, or will you take control of your mind and rise? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this video, please subscribe to our Stoic Club.